Well, I mean, I've got a lot of new guys out there, obviously. Lost 3 starters from last year, and some guys that play part-time are back with us. So a lot of youth in there getting a lot of reps. This is valuable time for. It's exactly what spring ball's for. You get to evaluate, new guys that haven't had to play a lot. So it's a good opportunity for us to see what those guys that didn't get to play a lot last year, how they've developed. And for guys that did get to play, those guys move into new roles. Not only do they get to play a lot more, but they also start moving into leadership roles. People like Malcolm Kennedy stepping up, and Mike Evans. Not only are they going to be asked to go out there and play, but they're going to be asked to kind of lead that group.
There's a lot of buzz in the fall about Ed Pope, and now you got him in the spring.
I mean, he's like the rest of those guys. He's a young guy. A lot of the buzz is because he can run, and that's true. The guy can run. He's got a lot to work on when it comes to actual learning how to run routes and get in and out of breaks, create his own space, being able to make plays in traffic. There's a lot to be said for that. Things that kind of go unnoticed to the naked eye, but when you study it on film, you know where they've got to go. So he's got a long way to go, but he understands that. He's working on the fundamentals that are required to be able to get those things done. But there's no doubt he's a talent. Along with the rest of them, it's just a matter of teaching the intricacies of the position that'll help him be successful in the SEC.
You mentioned Malcolm. What kind of progress have you seen from him since last fall?
I'll tell you, he's a guy that literally from last fall probably would be the most improved player maybe on our team, in my opinion, but definitely with my group. He's a guy that is exactly what you want as a coach. He does everything right. He's never on a list, takes care of his business off the field, and he works his rear end off. He never misses anything. He does extra. He keeps his mouth quiet, and he just works, and his teammates respect him as a result of that. So he's really improved in his route running, and that's an area that he really needed to improve on. He's a very physical kid. The sky's the limit for him. He just has to make sure he takes care of his body and stays healthy.
Early returns from Jacoy Williams?
Too early to tell. Very talented guy, but, a lot of times when you have brand new guys here, he's much like a freshman. It's kind of paralysis by analysis a little bit, just trying to figure out what he's doing out there. We're going so dadgum fast. It's not that we do a lot, it's just that we do it really, really fast. And I think that's something that takes them a little bit of time to transition into, and you can't simulate that on their own when they're going through 7-on-7. So this has been really good for him, but I am pleased with his work ethic and his actual dedication, and he's got some talent, there's no doubt about it. We just got to keep him healthy and get him taught.
How nice is it just to have at least one guy in Mike Evans who played all last year and started all last year, to have him back with such a new group around him?
Oh, it's great. You'd like to have more than one. We just happened to have 3 really, really good seniors last year. But you'd like to have a guy that has played, obviously like Mike has. And like I said earlier, Mike's going to have to move into a little bit of a different role, even though he's still a young guy. He's going to have to be kind of the voice of that room. Him and Malcolm Kennedy have to be the leaders. They got to take over for Swope and for Kendrick and for Easy from last year. So it's nice to have him back, absolutely.
From the little time that we've gotten to see practice, we've seen Cameron Clear make a lot of plays. So how do you guys want to utilize him? What do you want to get out of him?
Very talented player, one of the largest humans I've ever seen in my life. For a guy that is that big, he moves around extremely well. He is very committed. Guy's an early morning, late night guy. Will study. Cam Clear will play a lot here, and he will have a fine career. Is my projection. I like that kid a lot.
How impressed were you with Evans last year? The fact that a lot of his reps were mental reps when he got injured, but he would show up on Saturday. And this is a guy that everyone's calling raw, but he would just do it on Saturdays. With him being healthy now and being able to actually go through it physically, how much better can he get?
He can get a lot better. There's a lot of things that he has to do, and we've talked about that, to round his game out as we move forward. He can become a better route runner. He can become even a better blocker, even though he is a pretty good blocker. He can play with lower pad level. And he's going to have to do those things if he plans on being an all-SEC guy. And if he ever plans on playing at that next level, which we know that's all these kids' dreams, he's going to have to be able to improve in those areas to be able to do what he wants to do. And he knows that. That's the great thing about Mike. He's a very humble guy. He takes coaching. He'll tell you, I get after him every day. There's no complacency with that. And because of that, I've promised him I'm not going to let you regress. It's not going to happen. And, we kind of have our tiffs every now and then, but it's, he understands that we're trying to make him better. And, that's the challenge, is to not let a guy like that become complacent, because that's the enemy of having a good season, is complacency the next year.
How do you replace the production of a guy like Ryan Swope?
Well, you know, the train keeps moving. That's hard to do. I mean, one of the best players, arguably, to ever play at this university. I mean, very, very talented guy. But the train keeps moving, and you find new guys that move in, and they got to find their niche and their role. And I'm looking forward to seeing who the next Ryan Swope type of guy will be.
Is that going to be Kennedy, you think?
He's got a real chance. I like Malcolm a lot. He's got to stay healthy, and he's got to take care of his body, but he's got a chance at it. We'll see.
How's the relationship been working with, Jake Spavital, I guess co-OC with Clarence? How's that been going so far this spring?
Man, great. I've known Jake for a long time. When this position came available, I actually was hoping that there was a way we could lure him away from West Virginia. Guy has an unbelievable amount of knowledge when it comes to this offense. Probably one of the more knowledgeable guys about this offense in the country. So he was very valuable. Not only that, I mean, you can't argue with the productions of the quarterbacks that he's worked with over the last few years. And he's just a great asset to our offensive room and a great asset for our team. The way he communicates with kids, the way he motivates, he's second to none. I mean, he's another guy that has been on a fast track, and he'll continue to be because he's a great coach.
All right.
Feel good?
Appreciate it.